Allow me to give you a totally realistic scenario. On a cold winter's eve, you decide to go to your local Hooters. Feeling adventurous, you take a back road far out into the country to get there. What's the worst that could happen? I'll get to explore some new areas, you think to yourself. However, you soon realize that you are out of gas. Whatever will you do? Well, you might not make it to Hooters. I will show you how to make it to the morning. Dang. Alright guys, as you can see, I'm out of gas. For sure. I'm stuck in the truck, right? I'm on this lonely backcountry road. I don't know if there's gonna be anybody here, you know? I could be stranded out here for all I know. I'm gonna have to spend the night out here until I can get some people to come by or someone to come help me. There might not be anybody till the workers come at 9 in the morning. You might as well get to work. Alright, so it is nice and cold out. If you guys can't tell, there's snow on the ground still. I think it's, truck will tell me. It's about 32 degrees out right now, so it's at freezing. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take my keys out of the ignition, right? I don't want to wear down the battery any longer than I have to, especially with how cold it's going to get tonight. I don't know if I'm going to have to use the battery to heat up the truck. So keys are out of the ignition, headlights are off. Let's get to surviving. Okay, so luckily I'm not in a juke because I'm not weird and I'm in a truck like a real man. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get out of the front seat and I'm going to move to the back because I'm going to have a lot more room and it's going to be a lot more comfortable. Okay, let me show you guys what we got to survive this whole ordeal. But here, in situations like this is what I keep in my truck. Sleeping bag. This one is 0 degrees. It's ideal for wintertime. Now let's pull this up. We got a tow strap. Or a ratchet strap. I probably won't need. Under here, I've got a first aid kit. Got some rope. I've got, what are these called? It's one of those things you scrape the ice off of your windshield with. I'm not gonna need that. Blanket. We have my Michael Jackson. One glove. Carhartt. Stool. Toilet paper. And some extra underwear. So by the looks of it, if I shit myself, I can at least change my underwear. This first aid kit, I'm looking at this, I'm thinking I see something I'm gonna want. Space blanket. This is gonna come in handy. I'll show you why here in a little bit. This, I don't have any injuries right now. We'll see how frisky I get tonight. Right now, I don't need that. Rope always comes in handy. Blanket, I got an idea, something I can do with this, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Obviously, I'm gonna need the sleeping bag. Obviously, I'm gonna put on the Carhartt later. Let me check my console to see what I have in here. So in my console, I've got a lighter, a notebook, hat, knife, and a headlamp. Now, if you recall, I said that I don't want to burn out the battery in the truck. So we're swapping lights from the truck light to the headlamp. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and get as much room cleared up as possible back here. So that means everything is going to go up front or almost up front. What I'm going to focus on is go ahead and getting ready for bed. I'm stuck in a truck for tonight. Like I'm not gonna go explore the woods. So here's what we're doing. Hat is going on my head. Let's get these seats down. Not a lot of room, but it's enough to go ahead and get some sleep in tonight. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the days of when I was in like 6th grade. I'm gonna make a fort out of blankets. Here's what we're gonna do. Sleeping bag is coming out. So currently, I'm not super comfortable, but I could definitely make it through the night. Now, it's easy for me to be all like, I can make it through the night right now because it's only 32 degrees. It's going to get down to like 18, 17, maybe even colder tonight. So what I got to do is I got to build something around me. Now, if you were ever like me and your parents left you in the car when they went grocery shopping and it was cold out, and you ever put your finger onto one of the windows, you'd know that it gets cold through those windows. And that's where most of this cold air that's going to be in here tonight is going to be coming from. It's going to be coming from that front windshield. It's going to be coming from the rear windshield. It's going to be coming from these windows on the side of me. And I'm just right here in my sleeping bag. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make a tent. I was getting in this thing. I went through my stuff. And in my list of stuff was a space blanket and rope. What I'm going to do with the space blanket and the rope is I'm going to suspend the rope all along the top of me here and then run a rope from the top up here and then put the space blanket over it. The reason for this is so that this can reflect all my heat. If you've ever been inside of or had a space blanket or gotten one out and looked at one, you'll know these things reflect heat extremely well. And to keep all of this cold air off of me, I'm going to put one of these up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the rope around these handles so that I have something to suspend my space blanket off of. Okay, so effectively what I did is I tied it off here, ran it up across the top, over, down to this handle. Then I ran it across this way, through here, up this, to the back seat of the car, around the back seat, back through this way, and then over here again. And then I wrapped it off a couple times over here and threw it over. So what I've done is I've essentially created a little cage of rope around me. Okay, now it's time for the space blanket. I know I said I wouldn't use the truck battery, but this will only take me about 5 minutes to do, max. Well, I guess that just turned off. Okay, it looks like something that a Colt would set up in, but it's actually just me trying to stay warm. If I lay down, the new look. What's that? I don't know. So, this is my roof. You can see the window a little bit back there. So I didn't quite have enough space blanket to get this thing wrapped all the way around. If I was super finicky about it, I could take my extra blanket and rig something up over there, but it's not a huge deal. This is already going to reflect a lot of my heat. Like, I can feel my heat reflecting back off of this thing. the main thing is that I've got the most of the front windshield area blocked, and then I've got the back windshield area blocked. So the biggest two areas that are going to be getting cold air back here are nice and blocked off. So if I'm laying down right now, I've got my heat reflecting off of this thing, and then I'm gonna just put my head up against this, and honestly, I'm comfortable right now. Like I got like, I can feel the heat reflecting off of the space blanket onto me. I'm in this nice warm sleeping bag. I'm keeping all the cold air that's up front and would be coming through the back windshield off of me. Like this is peak car survival. Now, one issue here is I am getting pretty hungry, but luckily I always keep a stash in my truck. This, my friends, is no longer surviving. This is thriving. Well, with my fort set up, well, that's on strobe. There's really only one thing left to do. This may look familiar because I camped here once before. Here's my pile of wood. Here's Owen.
Yes.
All right, let's get to setting things up. Just take your stuff.
This video sucks.
Ever wondered how real men catch trout? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is getting pretty late now. It's about, I don't know, almost 11. I've not been up to anything at all. Pretty much just sitting in my little reflective tent, chilling. It's not bad at all. Like if I had to do this for a night and it was, you know, my truck broke down or whatever, and I had to do this for a night till help could arrive, I would not be mad. I think I'm going to go ahead and take it easy, make it through the night. Well, good morning, everybody. It's currently about 8:30. I actually slept pretty good last night, and I actually stayed pretty warm too. This blanket has been reflecting my breath all night, keeping it in here. But this 0-degree sleeping bag was the main thing that kept me warm last night. It didn't get too terribly cold. I think it got down to about 15. But really, with this blanket here, it wasn't that bad. And in my truck, you know, obviously a lot better than being outside. I had this right here as a rest all night for my head, so that wasn't bad. And then, like I said, the sleeping bag kept me pretty warm. So I think it's time that we go find some help. I don't know why I wouldn't just walk back to my house. It's this way. Why would I go that way?